So we've got a change of topics now from food to responsible IT. And really, we had some sessions earlier in the day. We were talking about all the possibilities with AI. What can you achieve with AI? Smart cities, connected transport, incredible efficiencies that can be unlocked. But what wasn't talked about were the potential costs. Huge amounts of energy in inefficient IT systems. Even the stuff in our very pockets is eating an untold amount on our servers and, creating loads on our power systems which haven't been seen before. And that's where we need expertise, people like Alex Sayre. Now, I found something out about you, Alex, just before going on stage. You're also a professional chef.
Sure, yes.
That's fascinating.
That's my first profession.
And how does being a chef fit in with sustainable IT? Now, I'll make it a very difficult bridge.
A chef it must be sustainable, but you try to minimize your waste. Everything what you get, you try to bring something together and make it to a real good food. That's my first profession in sustainability, bringing everything together and no waste. Because as a chef, waste is money.
That's actually a brilliant answer. I think in terms of a mentality, that's a really nice way to start to think about how do you get a system together so you don't waste anything to get to the finished product. Now, how are you approaching sustainable IT, this energy drain problem that we have in IT systems at Fujitsu?
Yeah, we built exactly a few weeks ago a consulting area, sustainability IT solutions, to bring everything together, to bring sustainable data centers and the best in breed together. Mm-hmm. Because we have many regulations, many laws, we have critics, security must be bring into the data centers, and that is my team and I bringing to the customer. We go open-minded into the data centers to bring in sustainable. You bring a good word, AI. That's a big energy consumption inside the data center. You have big issues with AI, with the energy consumption, how to can cool it, how to bring all these cool stuff or the warm stuff outside and reuse all this stuff to make a data center real sustainability. But AI, it's driven. It's drive us.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, I've heard figures about this. I remember last year, one major cloud provider apparently used more power than Ireland, a large industrial country. And so I think that the challenges ahead of us are large. How do you approach it? Now, you start with a customer. What is your typical customer?
Going from small customer. Yesterday I spoke with some chemical customer, which have 70 people. He asked us, we need an emergency handbook because ransomware it's out there. What we must do, we must formalize this. But I've also customer in the public area, like states, Finanzamt, so stuff, or the BA. It's also a customer which we have, which is not a small. BA is a Ministry of Work.
It's interesting because, working, I have to say over the years, I've had to deal with the BA and the Finanzamt as a citizen living in Germany. Now, I can't imagine that the IT system is simple. How do you even start when you get in with that tangled mess, I assume? Tell me how it is.
Simple. That's a very interesting word because the complexity enhanced in the last decade massive.
Yeah.
It's complexity not only in the technology. AI, it's very complex stuff. Data centers, complex stuff. But also the regularity, like CRITIS, like the BSE, NIS2, E and EFG, as a regularity world. It's also complexity, and our customer, in many cases, they are lost. As you hear, I talk about many words you never heard before.
I didn't want to embarrass myself and say I'd never heard of any of those acronyms before, but I'll just say it's complex. But
yeah, it's complex, and you can play in bullshit bingo as any time you want.
Yeah.
But it's what we want to do. We want to bring what our sales bring to the customers to the reality. My team and I, we are responsible to make the sales streams into a reality or the political dreams into a reality. And that is a hard work.
That is often hard work. And, we've had just Kai Wegner on stage giving it a short address. We have a lot of politicians throughout the program in the next 2 days. But the core of our business is actually industry. So we're industry, technology, startups as well. But it's really the backbone is industry, and often it's not huge companies, and a lot of them are suppliers to, let's say automotive industry. You've got a supplier that supplies parts to the car industry, and I had a fascinating call the other day with a what we call a tier one, so a direct supplier to the automotive industry, and it was the head of supply chain reporting, and he told me we have 14 SAP systems and none of them are integrated. He said, how do I start with getting full visualization of my supply chain in terms of understanding how the weaknesses are, how to report cleanly on all of them? So when you get a problem like that in an industrial producer, how do you go in? What's the process? You're a chef. Tell me how you uncook this mess.
We go to customers, small or big, that's not necessary, open-minded, because every customer has another, let's say, pain point. Like SAP systems at ZF. They are not connected together, it's not working together. That is the main pain point. Here we must start to work on it. Out of this pain point, you see, okay, you need the connections, because behind you must manage it with ITSM systems, because a ticket system and so on must be also connected. The users can come to these systems, and only the users, not other people's. How to secure it. You see, you have the next stage, and it goes back from the security. You have your network. Everything comes together. Did you have pain points? Did you have something we must work on it? What can we do? And so you get models of models, which you must write it down. We can't do anything. I'm not Jesus. We don't have a white kittle on, and we can't walk over water. But we are many people at FSAS or Fujitsu, which we work together, that we say, okay, here for the problem, SAP, we have our competence center for SAP. Let us have a look. Let us have a look with our best place, where it's the best place to set it up, bring it together, make all the connection inside the SAP systems. Or ask, are all these 40 systems really needed at the end? What is the use cases behind? That can also be a possibility to say, okay, we need use cases to see what is the real use you want to have with the system at the end. Making question behind.
Can I challenge you on something? Because it's interesting. We've talked about a lot of complexity problems, how you diagnose the problems, how you unpack it and come to the root cause. But we haven't really talked about sustainability. So where does that come in? Because I get this feeling it's almost, you don't see it as a separate issue to solving IT complexity.
Absolutely, but sustainability, at the end, we want to all want to have work in 5 years, in 10 years. That is also in sustainability. And in addition, when we talk about waste, energy consumption, carbon footprint, trusted society, which is an SDG goal, that's sustainability. We want to have a good work. Healthy living, it's also a point which we have. Because when you are in a burnout, you don't bring anything for the company. That costs money at the end. To be sustainable means also have an open eye, how you can save energies, how you can save carbon on one hand, but you must pay for it. At the end, it must be available. At the end, and you want to have and work in 5 years from now, because a sustainable solution, which is too expensive, you can't use it at the end. And all the peoples must work with all these sustainable, with all these stuff, tools, whatever it is. Sustainability, it's working with peoples, bring it together, saving energy, and working mostly with peoples, bridging together.
It's interesting, I really like the holistic view that you say around it's not just about carbon. We've got a session this afternoon which is called Beyond Carbon, and we're talking about things like biodiversity, but also going to the social aspects of trust in society.
Trust in society.
Or health, which are also part of this entire web. Have you got a use case of a customer, you don't have to name names, but where you've gone in and done a full assessment and come out with a sustainability outcome with green power or whatever it happens to be.
It's another sustainable things we had, because we had a customer which, on the Corona time, they produce a vacancy, but not the vacancy overall. It's not BioNTech. It's a producer of these small glass parts.
Yep.
And here, it is a job for us. How can they produce these small classes very fast, very secure, and in a sustainable way?
Yep.
It's a totally other story.
Yeah.
But at the end, we also have in Japan, my colleagues in Japan they built for big clinics climate tools, that they have everything together, so that they can serve the customer inside the clinic very fast. Medical health care.
Yeah.
It's sustainability. It's also we must feel good at the end, and we have one world.
That's very true, and I think it couldn't finish on wiser words. We have one world, and we have to work together. So I think we can take that home with us. And you had something you wanted to tell us about in the afternoon, which you would like to invite the audience to. Is that right?
Yeah, we have a networking hour on our booth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an FSAS booth. You see more FSAS, not only Fujitsu, because Fujitsu was red. Now we're green and blue. It's a little bit different.
Well, fantastic. So you're all invited to come to the Fujitsu or FSAS booth and get to know them more about sustainable IT.
Ask me all the questions you want to have.
Yeah, an open, no questions barred session. So with a former chef, professional chef, and now sustainable IT architect. So you have lots of opportunities and interesting things to talk about. So Alex, it was a pleasure chatting to you. I really enjoyed it. And look forward to seeing you around the hallways.
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks so much.